Brian Flores took a different approach than many of us have seen before. Very reminiscent of Roger Staubach.
Yeah, so we can compare a rookie QB to a toddler.
So that's why I have the Mavs winning in 7, and then Luka's just going to be Luka.
Hayward's absence for this game will be significant, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game turns into a blowout as of late.
The Golden Knights just can't pull it. I really think the Avalanche are determined this year.
They made so many moves and grabbed so many guys that they have to win a championship or at least make the finals. They were on our championship and bust.
Dallas has just been on a tear. I believe we can attribute that to Jason Robertson. Also, Jake Ottinger, who's really stepped in.
Kaprizov and the rest of this crew. Jordan Greenway, who doesn't get enough props. He definitely is somebody who needs to be mentioned more. I definitely think this is going to be a great series, and I'm interested to see how much Kaprizov can impact the game as a rookie.
Yeah, and as a Cowboys fan, I have learned how dangerously good Aaron Rodgers has been with he can just thread a pass.
Is the Avalanche versus the Blues. I believe the Blues are starting to play some of their best hockey all year, and so they can push this to 6 games.
If Leiter's there, I'm happy with Leiter because I think he fits into what you were saying about a much quicker thing. But if Leiter's not there, which is seeming so, I say Jordan Lawler at number 2.
The same self. The only year he won an MVP was the year he cheated, which really should put something against that MVP. But
there will be a Rodgers playing for Green Bay, even though he may not be the quarterback. But it's still unknown there. Austin is giving me the dead stare, so I guess don't mention Aaron Rodgers to him right now.
A top 3 corner in the league in Jair Alexander, and pairing him with a really fast corner should definitely assist in their ability to guard anybody in their division and anybody in the league.
Hello, I am Ruby Ackerman, and you are listening to Outsider's Opinion with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week for November 26th. Today, we are doing our first ever NBA Power Rankings for this season. Austin, I promise I didn't put the Mavs at 30. So we'll go 30 through 26. We're going by 5s as there are 30 teams, even number, sort of. Well, it's odd number, but it's even with 5. Comes out good. No weird trickery like we had to do with the NFL. But I'll go 30 through 26. I have Magic, Pistons, Rockets, Pacers, Thunder. What about you, Austin?
I have Pistons, Magic, Rockets, Thunder, Pelicans.
Wow. You and I, that was pretty close.
Where were we off?
I have Pacers at 27. You have Pelicans at
26.
26.
Where do you have Thunder?
I have Thunder at 26. So I have the Thunder higher.
But we have the same bottom 3, right? Pistons,
yes, we have
Magic,
the same
Rockets.
bottom 3.
Got it.
Yeah, Pacers, even though they are on a little, I can't remember if are they still on the hot streak? No, they're losing
The
2
who?
games. I thought the Pacers had a hot streak. Or was it a
No,
losing streak?
they've been okay recently. But the Pacers, they've lost 2 straight. They're 4-6 in the last 10.
It's kind of nice because I'm a little upset at Rick Carlisle for what he did to Dwayne Casey and just like all that stuff. So it's kind of karma. And like he kind of ditched the Mavs. Like the Mavs would be a much better team with Rick Carlisle because he's a very good head coach. And he's much better than Jason Kidd. But no, let's just go to 25. 25 Pelicans, 24 Raptors, 23 Spurs, 22 Celtics, 21 Kings. So I have Pelicans at 25. Valanciunas just went off. This other player, so his stat line, he scored 30 points with like 9 3-pointers.
7 3-pointers.
7?
It was
Who's
Curry.
the other player?
Yeah, it was 30. Who's the last player to get 30, 10, and make 7 threes? The answer is Curry, but it was also, of course, Valanciunas.
Who makes that many ridiculous 3-pointers?
Yeah, I mean,
and they're supposed to get
the 10 rebounds is pretty impressive though for Curry,
Oh, yeah.
especially.
Especially for Curry, yeah, that's a good point. But they're supposed to get Zion back, so that would be an interesting lineup with Valanciunas starting because Zion really doesn't have much of a 3-point shot. But when you have Valanciunas, with a 3-point shot. That kind of spaces the floor pretty well. So that's why I have the Pelicans at 25. I didn't feel like putting them in that the lowest 5, but just pretty close to it. What does your 25 to 21 look like?
So my 25 to 21 goes Kings, then Spurs, then Raptors, then Pacers, and Trailblazers.
Interesting. Okay, so you Celtics are at 22 for me. I don't know where the Celtics are for you, and I'll find
This-
that out.
Yeah, you'll find that out soon.
Yeah, the Kings, we agree. I just had them a little bit higher. But 20, this is the second time in a row because 20 is my Trailblazers, is where I have the Trailblazers. And you just had the Trailblazers, and you had Pelicans, and then I had Pelicans. So
Yep.
Trailblazers, Hawks, Nuggets, Mavs, Cavs.
You and I disagree a whole lot between the Hawks. It's gonna be a while before we talk about the Hawks.
Yeah, they just haven't been doing well right now, but that roster is very good. But they just
Yeah.
haven't been playing like it.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I don't know. I'm surprised to see him number 10 in the East.
The Hawks?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, their record is very similar to all those teams above them, so it's really close. But my 20, Celtics, Nuggets, Lakers, Knicks, Mavs.
Okay, so Mavs are 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more surprising thing than the Hawks being at number 10 is the Mavs are at 4, especially when they just got destroyed by the Cavs without Colin Sexton 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
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 The Wizards' loss wasn't as bad because like the Wizards are a very good team, and we'll talk about them when we get deeper into the list. But anything surprise you about my list so far?
Nothing too surprising except for how low you have the Hawks.
Okay. And I do have a bias against the Hawks because stuff it's happened this season, and then of course you have the Luka and Trey thing. But let's go to 15 to 11. I have Sixers, Knicks, Lakers, Hornets, and then this is a team that I'm also biased against is the Timberwolves because the one time I believed in them, they were completely terrible. And now they decide to be good because like in every list, I'm like, they're going to be at the bottom of the barrel. Even Anthony Edwards is just going off right now, but it hurts.
Yeah. My 15 through 11 goes 76ers, Cavs, Clippers, Timberwolves, Grizzlies.
Interesting. Okay, so you do not have the Grizzlies in the top 10.
I do not.
Why?
They're without Morant, and while they have been winning, I need to see it for a longer period of time. I need them to prove to me that without Morant, for whatever time they're out, that they can still be a consistent, good team.
Okay. And you have the Clippers out of the top 10. Clippers are in my top 10. So I think I should just talk about my 10 through 6. I have Grizzlies, Bucks, Clippers, Jazz, and then the Wizards just on the outside of the top 5.
Where did you have Mavs again?
I had Mavs at 17, so just one below you.
This is crazy because it always seems that we rate each other's favorite teams higher than each other. My top 10 goes Hawks, Hornets, Wizards, Jazz, Heat. So I have Wizards at 8. You have them at 6. I have Mavs at 16. You have them at
And I have
17.
them at 17.
It's a little weird that we rate the other person's favorite team higher than each other. It's a little weird to me, but
I really like the Wizards roster. Like
I do as well.
What y'all did with that Westbrook trade is awesome because you
And we-
get
we-
some great players.
Yeah, and we're also still out Thomas Bryant and Rui. So when those guys get back, I expect us to be contending for a top 4 seed.
Your centers are really good, and I'm very envious of you as right now, especially with like the Mavs center when everyone just goes crazy about Moses Brown, and
And then
he's
you
like
don't play him.
22. Well, he started, and Jason Kidd's like, yeah, the Mavs Twitter will be happy, and I'm like, great, that's what I want to hear from my head coach doing bits. As you can
Uh,
tell, I'm not the biggest Jason Kidd fan.
Yeah, but now to talk a little bit more about my list, I think the Hawks are a top 10 team. I think they're going to round into form. They played impressively lately. The Heat I have at 6. The Bucks have won 7 straight, and I just really like the role they're on, so I have them in my top 5. The Jazz are good, but I don't think they're top 5. Wizards are definitely good, but again, I don't have them in my top 5. Uh, they've struggled a little bit lately, but they've also beat teams like the Mavs, who are fourth in the West. Hornets, they're not consistent enough to be in the top 10, but I do think that they have the roster to make some noise. But what is your top 5? I'm very interested.
So, okay, before the recording, I told Austin we're probably going to agree on the first two, on the number 1 and number 2. And I think it has to be this way for the number 1 and number 2 teams.
I think we're going to disagree very
Really?
much. Yes.
Okay, number 5, I have the Miami Heat. Number 4, I have the Bulls. Number 3, I have the Nets. The number 2, Warriors. The number 1, Suns.
Okay. You're going to vehemently disagree with my top 5. 5, I have Bucks. 4, I have Warriors.
What?
3, I have Nets. 2, I have Suns. 1, I have Bulls.
What? Why don't you have the Suns at number
I'll
1?
explain.
Okay,
I'll
you'll
explain.
Okay.
The reason why the Suns have the easiest schedule in the league right now, 30th strength of schedule. They played easy teams. They just have. And the only reason why I have the Suns at 2 and not at 1 is because I just like the Bulls roster better than I like the Suns, especially now that Booker led the last game with the win. And after the Warriors lost, the Warriors have the 27th hardest schedule. So they're 27th, Suns 30th, and then the Warriors couldn't even beat the Suns last night without Devin Booker. So I'm like, I'd rather have the Nets up there than I'd had the Warriors. I almost put the Bucks, but I have respect for their 18-3 record. It's just when you have that easy of a schedule, you're supposed to win. I need the Warriors and Suns to prove. The Suns did it more so without Booker proving, but I need them both to prove that hey, we can stick with the good teams. We can, and that's where the Bulls have impressed me. That's where teams like the Wizards have impressed me. That's where teams like the Nets have impressed me. They're beating better Bucks as well. They're just beating better teams. And while the record doesn't normally tell the story, I do have Suns at 2. I think they are a very, very good team. We'll see how long this streak goes. They've won now 17 straight, but most of them have been against easy opponents.
Okay, that's solid reasoning. I was curious, but I just have them at number 1 because they 17 wins in a row ties a franchise record, and then they are facing the Warriors again. But I'm sure you saw the news about who the Warriors called up.
Don't they still have him on with the G League?
No, he just got called up from G League.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw that he got assigned. Okay, so he's
And then
back.
he was playing, and then he just got brought up, and that means Jordan Poole is probably going to be going to the bench. And Jordan Poole.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You have to start Clay. Well,
Oh yeah, and Jordan
do you
Poole.
Do you start Clay first game?
I don't think first game, but I think.
I think
looking
after
really far
like
ahead.
I'm gonna say like after like 6, 7, I would start him.
Yep.
He has to get back into a rhythm though. You can't just start him off the gate after being out for 2 seasons.
Like I'd ease him in like a couple minutes the first game.
Well, the first game's like
more.
10. I'm fine with like
Yeah.
10 minutes. The first game.
Yeah, but
And
like
then
not too much.
Yeah, you have to make sure that his body can handle it, and that's the big reason why they put him in the G League.
Mm-hmm. Treat him like KP whenever he gets like an injury, just like 10 games rest with lower back tightness. So I really like Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole going to the bench is why I have the Warriors at number 2. Number 3, Nets. I just have them over the Bulls because of Kevin Durant, and they're also number 1 in the East. But I do really like that Bulls roster. With Vucevic, you got Levine, you got DeRozan, and then that bench with Caruso and Lonzo. And Lonzo has turned into a very nice player. He's probably not worth that number 2 pick that he was, but he's turned into a really nice player. And 5, I have the Heat, even with Adebayo injured. I like what the Bulls and Heat did this offseason, getting some nice players like Kyle Lowry for the Heat, as they had to sign and trade. But then the Bulls just went out and shopped and got Caruso, got Lonzo. They traded for Vucevic at the trade deadline last year, and then they signed DeMar DeRozan on a I don't think it was that expensive of a deal.
Not for how he's playing. It's
Yeah.
like it's 26.9 this year, and that is cheap for DeRozan.
Yeah. Because a lot of people weren't paying much for him, but he's really proven them wrong. But just right now, I had him at 4. Just with the Suns record, I felt the need to put him at 1, and then 2, I had the Warriors. So
Yeah, I feel that. I understand your reasoning. I hope you understand mine. I went
well,
with
yes,
more of
I
a
understand. You explained it very well.
I
just
take a more analytical approach when it comes to stuff. You know that. We both know that.
well, yeah.
So I think my list stands up to my reasoning. I expected us to be different at the top, even though you
I
thought
thought
that I
I
was
thought you
going
and
to
I were gonna
follow.
have Suns and Warriors, or Warrior Suns.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
You had Suns at 1, right?
Yeah, I had Suns at 1.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
had
Okay,
Warriors
just
at
making sure because the Suns just beat the Warriors without Devin Booker. The
Oh, yeah.
Suns have to be 1 on yours. They have to be higher than the Warriors. They have to be.
Yeah. But I'm also rooting for the Warriors because I predicted them to have the 1 seed.
I predicted them
And
to win the finals. So
yeah. You and I, if we want to talk about like the Mavs view, like I had Mavs doing great in the regular season and then getting knocked out in the first round. And then you had them giving me a heart attack again, beating the Clippers or facing the Clippers for a 3rd time in a row.
and losing in the second round because I
Yeah.
have them beating. I don't even remember who I have them beating, but I have them beating.
You had
a
them
team.
beating the Clippers, I thought.
No, they lose to the Clippers in the second round because remember I had the Clippers going to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, I don't remember that. I thought I was going to get my revenge. So you definitely have
No.
them giving me a heart attack.
Well,
That's
I have
gonna
them
be
making
during
it to the second
baseball
round.
season.
I have them making the second round, which
Yeah,
is
but then I'm facing the Clippers again. And I'm in another Game 7 situation against the Clippers. And we saw how that went last year. I hope the Mavs reshape the roster, but they probably won't.
Yeah,
But
it's. I also hope.
yeah,
I want to go to good Mavs games.
I do too. I will be going to good Rangers games. It's a little hint into our MLB opinions. But let us know what you thought. I think even though a lot of the teams in our top 5, I see them as playoff teams, I don't know if the Bulls go far in the playoffs because it's such a new team. Do you see them going far with the Bulls?
I can see it both
know
ways.
it's way
Honestly,
early.
I can see it both ways. I need to see how this team gels. It looks like Nikola Vucevic has really picked it up, which has been very impressive to me. However, I need them to prove to me that it wasn't a one-off and that they can keep it up. I've really been impressed, but these are power rankings, not predictions. So
Well, yeah.
it's
I just wanted to talk.
yeah.
Just how good they are. And that's really surpassed my expectations of what I thought they would be right now.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. It's going to be a very. I feel like this is one of the years that I feel like parity has really shown itself, and a lot
It's
of
so
teams.
weird, especially with how the offseason, what happened in the offseason, and just that sentence.
There's a lot of teams that are have the same record, and it's not always what you project before the season, but it's really proven to be true.
Especially when the Lakers and Nets sign every single possible veteran to the vet minimum and just create super teams.
That's why I always say names do not equal wins. That's what I said with the Rangers too. Names don't equal wins. Now they may, but they don't. They don't.
They're going to be better. We'll talk about it. It's just I'm actually surprised if I can correlate this to basketball. A team saying, "Hey, we're going to go get big free agents." And they actually go get big free agents. Hey, Mark Cuban, I hope you're listening. Don't just say, we're going to go sign Dwight Howard and then not draft Giannis in the draft. Say, hey, we're going to have meetings with Tobias Harris, and then nothing really happens.
You and I both know an individual that's really mad that Desmond Bain was not drafted by the Mavs. And
he was totally right on that Desmond Bain pick.
Desmond
That
Bain
draft
has
is
played
so
very
bad.
well. Desmond Bain has
He
played
can hit a
very
3.
well.
And imagine Luka.
Oh no, he can hit more than just a 3.
But
He's on my fantasy team. He is good.
imagine Luka just some of the passes he makes is just incredible. That's why the Hawks, they have such a good roster. They've really built around Trae Young. So That I do agree. I think they'll start playing better, but just right now, that's why I'm lower in my list. But I think we can wrap up our NBA power rankings, the first one this season. Let us know what you thought about it. Feel free to tweet us at OutsidersPod21. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.